Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome in to the Mission Debrief from Call Team 6, Special Ops for Car Dealers, your virtual remote BDC, one of the fastest growing BDCs in the country. With me again today as we start and kick off episode 7G Golf, right?
Very appropriate for Florida.
For all of our audience members out there, if you are a dealer GM or a part of a leadership team's service, fixed ops, manager or GSM, you're part of the growing community that we're developing here to address all of the challenges that so many dealers are facing today. And I think that is probably a real true statement now. And you guys would know that because you just came back from one of the largest conferences out there in Vegas for the Digital Dealer Conference. So that's what we're going to get into today. If you're tuning in to us for the first time, we spend a lot of time in the challenges that dealerships face on a daily basis, namely being new acquisition for customers and also defection prevention. And then lastly, we have opportunity re-engagement, where you missed opportunities and you do the best you can to get them back engaged at the dealership level. As always, with me here today is our CEO, Ken Kingstad. Ken, you were out there, and I'm sure that it was really busy out there for you guys, right?
It was incredible. I mean, I had a chance to speak, at the convention as well, quote unquote reimagining business development, and it was quite the buzz, And I had Amazon was with us, and we launched our new rollout on our AI. It was amazing, and
great.
It was overall. I just feel like Digital Dealer was really well attended. And as you can all imagine, the big buzz obviously was with AI and all the different things that AI is doing in today's industry. So we can get more into that here as we go through it, but that was big takeaway for me was, as I expected, how much technology is driving the dealership, forward.
Absolutely. And I know that was a very exciting time out there. And then also with us in studio today, again, is our COO, Ryan Mays. Ryan, a lot of things happening right now with the crew and everybody all across the country, remote agents, remote managers doing the best they can to help the dealerships win in this challenging environment.
Yeah, we've actually put on more than a handful of stores just in the last couple days. And the main topic is AI and missed calls. So we'll get into that as we're talking about in Digital Dealer, how we were out there. That's the buzz. Just so we know is how do we handle our incoming calls better, more efficiently without breaking the budget. And I'm excited to talk about what we found out there and what we saw.
A big thank you today as we kick things off to our sponsors in today's program. First and foremost, Podcast Junkies. The finest podcast studio and engineering firm and social media management team you'll find out there anywhere, including our main guy back at the helm today, and that is producer Ben. Ben, welcome in. How's everything going?
Everything is going great, gentlemen. I always love to have you back in studio, so it's nice to see each and one of you.
Fantastic. All right. Yeah, we appreciate you too for sure as well. And then also our other sponsor in today's program is Insight Live. Special marketing live events for dealers all across the country. You can see them there. And that is certainly one of the things that we want to talk about today too, because we do have a very special guest in studio with us. So we're ready to kick things off. And that very well-known guest is with us today, driving all the way over from Tampa, Florida, to our studios here in the Meisner Park area, Boca Raton, Florida. We're very honored to have one of our sponsors and one of our partners here with us today, that none other than the Todd father, Todd Phipps from Insight Live.
Woohoo!
Right?
Woo! All right, Todd.
Welcome in, Todd.
Thanks, guys.
Nice
to see you guys.
Absolutely.
Wasn't a bad drive. It was a good drive.
Yeah.
Good. Saw the country.
Nice.
So for the viewers out there who may not know you or what Insight Live does, give us the lowdown, because I know you're a storied car guy. You've been around. You're an OG like the rest of us. You just don't have as much gray hair as I do. And
Close.
yeah, and I know that
have hair to have gray hair.
You got to have hair.
Okay.
you do. You do operate at a national level. You have clients all over.
Yep.
What's the story with Mr. Phipps?
Well, I was at Digital Dealer with all these guys and watching everyone. It was probably the best one I've been to in years.
Wow.
There was a lot of traffic. The CT6 booth was full. A lot of the other ones had AI, was a little different. I noticed a lot of people that I spoke to after getting demos were still wondering about their traffic and, you know, how they're going to handle it. And I think the big deal is putting a plan in place, and a lot of people just don't do that.
For their advancement.
Yes,
right?
the traffic, the advancement, taking the technology that's there now, driving that traffic in there, and, you know, really working with less vendors and you know, getting better results.
Great. Tell us a little bit more about yourself for our viewers out there, like your career in the car business and what things are like on the other coast of beautiful
Florida?
sunny Florida. Yeah,
We have white sand, you have brown sand.
that's
I'll
true.
leave it at that.
That is true.
So 28 years this week in the car business.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
28
Congratulations.
years. Started out in Georgia, migrated to Florida. We've done events, campaigns, and have clients all over the country from Florida all the way to California. We do a lot of business in Texas up into the East Coast. Over my last 17 years, I've been doing hosted events, campaigns, and of course the BDC work for many of my clients. To, you know, once we drive the traffic, to manage the traffic, we noticed that if we gave them the 2,000 or 3,000 leads that were left afterwards, there's nothing was done with those. So when we came back, we decided, hey, we're going to put a BDC in play. Let me have your old dead leads, and we'll take care of that for you. It's been a win-win for everybody.
What is exactly, because some of us who've been around doing this a long time, we're familiar with the staffed events, right?
Right.
What is the difference between somebody bringing an entire crew? Some dealerships like that, some are opposed to it. What's the difference between that and the extra components, forward-thinking components that you actually execute on there that some of our viewers, dealers, GMs out there might not be familiar with?
Well, first of all, we own all of our own technology, from the CRM to the AI to our dialer. We actually in-house do everything, including the call center taking care of the leads. So once we drive the traffic, we manage it, which is where, most of it's missed when folks are just going to the store. The difference in a staffed event and a hosted event is we don't take over your store. We don't bring in salesmen. We don't, desk the deals. It looks more of a corporate deal, like a Toyota, Nissan type deal, or a, Honda. The other part of it that's a little different is the salesmen don't hide from us when we get there, because they're not getting taken over by another group of people that are going to try to sell cars there while they're there. So we send one seasoned, over 20-year car person into the dealership. We have males and females that work for us. And we are kind of a traffic director for the week. Customers come in, we get their information, get them signed up, and build the deal within 5 to 10 minutes, where it takes 2 hours for a salesman usually. And then we revert back to the salesman, to the desk, and then they lead us to where they want us to go to with the customer instead of us leading them.
And then the way you generate the prospects for these events, I know some dealers probably out there watching this right now thinking, oh, they do direct mail, and that's how they generate, and it has a lot of hooks and all of that, but you're more advanced than that in the way that you generate the leads, right?
Yes, we, first of all, we are very light on mail. We do more digital and more follow-up with a BDC, inbound, outbound calls. The digital drives so much traffic into our CRM that we are generating, constant leads during the week that we're there.
Right.
The week before, the week after. So there's a lot of traffic that has to be in a process. So if you drive a ton of traffic, you got to figure out where the 5 buttons are coming into one central place. That would be the BDC attached to the CRM, and the appointment setting is impeccable through there, because you can constantly stay in touch with a customer there.
And that's why we're spending some time on this. If you're watching this right now and you'd like to know more about how you can give yourself a boost, how you can generate some bona fide marketing techniques that your competition is not. most likely, no matter what make you represent, what shingle you have hanging out front. These are things that have been proven to be forward-thinking and digitally oriented, and then having the entire structure there that actually helps to make it a complete event and very successful. I can say firsthand, I mean, we did some really good work together at some large stores, and I'm a testament to that. Typically, we would do them once a month or once every other month, and it comes along at the right time with the right messaging, with the right format. That is very conducive to with the messaging, to what people are already accustomed to. Acting on whenever it comes to, oh, that makes sense. It's not a hook and crook type of, of event that's going on, right? Yeah. So, and speaking of BDC, this is something that you guys have been developing this partnership for some time. That actually, what Todd alluded to, Ryan, as far as the functionality execution that comes in on the backside, what does that typically look like? And again, the reason we're bringing this up is because everybody right now is looking for ways to be able to increase without a lot of extra horsepower on their part. That is very reasonable in terms of budget, but yet still can have a dramatic impact. And that's some of what we try to bring all of our dealer viewers out there and the automobile community. This is where we live and what we do, and this also shows another way that you can do that, but then also complementing that with what the BDC does.
Yeah, well, so one of the benefits is we've been working on this for like 4 years now, something like that. So we have a lot of training that's happened. I'll punt that back over to Ken in just a minute, but a lot of training that happens, a lot of being able to understand the marketing that gets put out, right? So our agents are always exposed to it. They've been exposed to it for a long time. They know the cadence. They know the repetition behind it, right? We just closed up 3 BDC boosts, okay? And this is not a pitch. It's just this is just fact. We just closed them up. I got the results this morning, and 3 stores sold 19, 18, and 19. And all we did was take like 3,000 or 4,000 old dead leads and start banging the phones, right? Send out some texts, some emails, and started hammering away. And in over 3-week period, right, wrapped up 19, 18, and 19. It was absolutely incredible. There's a lot of pent-up demand out there, and there's also a lot of leads that get left behind, which is what we do, right? No lead left behind. But if you got a good BDC partner out there, they shouldn't either. But that's it's not like a magic sauce, so to speak, right? It's just tried and true. You got to go after these people who you think are old dead leads. They're not. They're sitting there. It's just different. It's different how people shop. They have a lot more time. It's a lot different environment now than what it was pre-COVID. I know we're still talking about that, right?
Right.
We know the economy's tightened up. We're just getting on the other side of a government shutdown.
Yep.
And if you think that didn't impact people, we didn't even know we were going to be able to fly here
I know,
today because
right?
the flights were all getting canceled,
Yeah.
right? So, there's a lot of headwind out there. So, you're kind of looking for you're looking for a product that can paint the inside corner, right? This works, and it just does. But again, Ken, I know we went a lot of that about the training.
Yeah. And one of the things I think people don't buy into is the tail on these long-term customers. I know you mentioned COVID and going through the buying cycle. There's a beginning, middle, end of the whole process, and as a digital dealer, I went to a different couple of convention speakers, and they're even saying that the tail is even longer than 180 days. It's stretching out. And so I think what we talk about when we do these events too, I'll tell a dealer, hey, listen, give us like 3,000 to 5,000 of leads that you would never call. Just dead leads, and let's resurrect, right, Ryan? And then, our partnership with Insight and putting that all together, it's magic, really. Because here's the thing, we spend so much money every single month on advertising, right? And what percentage are you converting? I know we look at, our cost to sale and all those things, but I like to say, hey, if you spend $50,000 and you sell X number of cars, right, and typically you're going to flip maybe 20 to 30%, right, of those deals in that first window. And I always say, go back to, well, what are we doing with the other 80 or 70% that didn't buy? And that goes back to training your people with the right accountability and leadership to help you get your unfair share, I call it. Not my fair share, because your fair share is your 20 to 30%. That's what everybody gets, right? But if I want to get my unfair share, how do you do that? You've paid for it already. How are you going to get it out of your CRM and into your bank account? And I think that's what we do really, really, really well with Insight Live and with our BDC. It doesn't have to be our BDC, but I mean, it has to be. You have to have some way, a mechanism to be able to really tap into it, because mail, we all know the conversions on mail, and we all know how much we'll do when our lead bias with our salespeople or BDC chasing leads that are 2 weeks old, if you get them to do that. So to really get your unfair share, in my opinion, you got to almost take that long tail follow up and give it to somebody who that's all they do, and hold their feet to the fire for a good ROI. That's how I look at it.
100%.
Right. So what do you think that looks like when a company like with what Todd does for dealerships, whenever that information comes in, then what do you do with that? How do you execute on that in a way that that is going to help ensure that you wring out the rest of the business that most people and from an event might just let go at that?
Yeah, well, I think he hit the nail on the head. Todd did a second ago. He talked about we are digging in to those leads and digitally before the event even starts. We're kind of priming the pump. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm going to go into this thing as a 1 week or a 3-day event or anything like that. So I think to answer your question, Jeff, you have to kind of prime the pump digitally, and that's what Insight Live does great with some mail. And then you have your event, but then you let the BDC squeeze it, and we keep squeezing it, and we keep squeezing it until there's nothing really left into that deal. And we use multiple calls. We start out by calling, twice every day for like a week, and then we go down to once a week. We chase it all the way out for these customers of ours, and that's how you get your unfair share. We don't have the lead bias. We have our own, as we have our dialer, and we have all of our IP that we use to squeeze it. But that's how we get our unfair share for our customers. And that's why we actually put a guarantee too. We say to our customers, hey, listen, if we don't get you X number of sales, we're going to just keep working until we get you it. Right, Ryan?
That's right.
We say that many, many times. I feel like, well, what if you don't perform at a high level? Well, we'll just keep working until we get there. That's the bottom line. And we put our money where our mouth is that way. But that's how you squeeze, I think, to answer your question, Jeff, everything you can out of it. You can't just do it during the event. You got to prime the pump. You pump the pump when you're doing it, and then you squeeze everything you can, out of it after it. If it takes a full month to do that deal, then we do it for a month. Yeah, for sure. It's a lot of fun, though. It's a lot of fun, and the dealers love it because it's like, hey, how many vendors will say, put your money where your mouth is? If you're that good, what kind of guarantee do you have? Ask your vendors that next time. What kind of guarantee? And if they say, well, there is no guarantee, well then keep looking.
Well, you got a 75.
Not the vendor you want.
75-80% renewal rate. That's the writing right there. Is that's the proof. Not even if we keep going, or even if you put a guarantee on it, it's the amount of people who come back. And we haven't even talked about the price. Which I'm not going to do. It's not what we're here to do today. But compared to some of these other companies that are going to charge you 15, 20, 30 grand for these events or whatever it is, it's just crazy. This is sub 10 grand. It doesn't even cost you that much at all. Relatively speaking, it's it's your guys' money out there. But for what you get on it, it's a no-brainer.
I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that the alluding to the guarantee that could be on the box.
Yes.
How that automatically brings to mind one of the famous scenes from the movie Tommy Boy.
Yep. Absolutely.
I love it.
You sure
something about a butcher and
a bull.
But I'm sure Ben remembers that one, Ben.
I do. That's one of my favorite movies.
Best movie ever.
Sticking a butcher up a head's ass, but I'd rather get the butcher's word for it, right? Yeah, exactly.
You can put anything on a box. We actually stand behind it.
Not here. Not here.
Not here.
But
Right here.
Yeah, for
And if
sure.
Tommy Boy can sell something, we can.
That's
Well,
right.
good morning, gentlemen. What can I? Holy cow! What happened to your face?
Ran into the back of a bull.
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm sorry. We could derail this real quick with 30 minutes worth of those sophomoric.
Well, we haven't even got to the goods yet. We're just still on Tommy Boy.
Sell the metal.
We sell the metal. That's right.
That's right. So that's really a good point, Ken. That you kind of put a bow on that as we continue on with our mission launch and field report segment of the program here, and that kind of leads us into because we spend you guys know this, we spend more time delving into all the things that help to get a team's performance at any one of our clients, or even those who aren't our clients, to get them going in the right direction. Not just to talk the game, but actually to walk the walk as well. Spending the time going in there, analyzing what they're doing in terms of their tech stack, their processes, their way that they have their team set up for their BDCs and sales and service. And that's why we have so many people starting to get the message and tune into these, because we do provide bona fide takeaways that can help you achieve the success as a dealership leadership team in all the areas, particularly now as we try to navigate things that we just alluded to earlier. And I like to get a little more context and color on it. I'm sure that our viewers out there would like to as well, maybe who didn't get an opportunity to visit Digital Dealer. And I know that we talked about initially before that about what was going to be going on, what you guys were going to be introducing out there at the expo, how that went, or how it was going to go and what people could expect. But now that it's come and gone, I'd like to, I'm sure everybody out there would like to know a little bit more about what you actually rolled out, how it was received, what type of activity was there out there at the Digital Dealer event, and then how dealers who are watching this now can actually get more information from you guys on how that could possibly impact or affect them.
Yeah, well, one of the most exciting things we were out there is we rolled out our CRM that has that we've done in the joint project with AWS, and this is, obviously in our opinion, it's going to kind of change the dynamic a little bit, right? Because this is not a plugin. There's no API. It is the brain for the dealership, right? This is the tool that we envision in the future will take and help dealerships make customers lifetime customers without these bloated budgets, without noise and interference from all of your competitors, especially on the service side with the Midases and all of those. I mean, it's this centralized brain for your dealership, this AI that's integrated in with the CRM is going to be able to access, right, customer data forever. It's going to remember who that customer was. It's going to be able to access the maintenance schedule. It's going to be warranty information. It's going to be able to send reminders when your warranty is due to expire. You're going to be able to effectively have a concierge. That's what this will be. It'll be your AI concierge. It's going to know everything about your car because it's going to be able to access the VIN number, VIN explosion, be able to read all the options. It's going to be able to have the digital owner's manual tied to it. If you ever need to schedule a service appointment, you're going to be able to just text or call it right there at your concierge. And again, because it's in the CRM, it's going to remember every conversation that you've ever had with it. Husband, wife, significant other, doesn't matter. It's going to be able to access it all. And it doesn't create these duplicate leads with these other AI companies, right, that plug into CRMs and do that, and you talk to it 3 times, it never remembers who you are, starts the conversation over again. That's gone. That problem is solved, and we did do that at Digital Dealer. We rolled it out. We did a soft launch. We have Ford Direct talking to us now. We have General Motors, the tier 3 relationship. We have them talking to us now about it. It's very, very exciting. We haven't even gotten to the part yet where we started talking about having the service scheduler that's built inside the CRM, and where you have your AI dispatcher. This will be. I'm just saying this is where AI is actually going to take, in my opinion, is going to take the dealership world. It's going to be the brain of all of your customer management. And it's going to be kind of a game changer for service managers. So we talked to a few out there, and they absolutely lit up. Being able to have a CRM with an AI built in with the scheduler, where you can take and create profiles for each one of your techs, be able to list what each tech capability is, right? If you're ABC, Master Tech, whatever it is.
Look out.
Select which ones are capable to take which jobs, and the AI is going to know it. The AI is going to see the schedule and be able to load the shop right then. And I mean, it's what's coming over the next 90 days from this desk right here. It will change the way that we do this. We just had another meeting this morning with AWS to roll out that project over the next. Like I said, over the next 2 or 3 months, it's right around the corner. It's going to be exciting stuff. But talking about what we experience at Digital Dealer, a lot of places are still AI is still behind from some of these companies. It's because there's no integrated solution. That's the real problem. Is they all exist in their own little ecosystem, and then they try and plug it into the dealership world. That we're kind of smoothing those edges out, if you will, with this, and that was a big takeaway. Is these AI solutions, still try and wrap their arms around the auto space when really you got to start inside and work out, which is what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think to that point, Ryan, you look at as you mentioned, this brain, this agentic AI, right? And it doesn't forget, it doesn't stop, it manages every aspect of your leads from inception. Hey, I'm curious about this vehicle, all the way through the delivery, all the way through the birthdays and Merry Christmas, or all the different holidays.
The ownership cycle.
The whole ownership cycle. And to your point with the service, it just keeps going, and it's that concierge.
Well, you have such high turnover, right? If you're talking about salespeople and salespeople turnover, your concierge never turns over.
Right.
Right. I mean, your customer will forever be able to text or call that concierge for your dealership and get an answer.
Without digressing from that, hey, hold on to that thought there, because one of the things that oftentimes is a detractor for a dealership to consider having somebody outside of their ranks actually contacting owners and contacting leads. One of them is what? That they just have one person calling, or they have too many people calling.
Yeah,
right.
Too many.
Right.
Too many.
I submitted a lead, and and the dealer says, I don't want 16 different people calling, because a lot of external BDCs out there, let's face it, they're boiler rooms.
Correct.
Right. They load up some names, or they look in the CRM, then they start calling, and then all of a sudden, I got a call from Teresa, I got a call from Bill, I got a call from Sarah, and the customers, the prospects going, what in the world? Now, and let me just expound on this just a little bit. That's from a prospect's point of view, right? That's one of the reasons why the dealers are reticent to accept some of this different process. I know that because I'm a customer of a dealership as well with my car, and I know that better than or more than I cherish or value the relationship that I have with a salesperson whenever I'm doing business there, which I do value that. I value the service experience more. I want to deal with the same person whenever I call, and I 10 out of 10 people who deal with a particular dealership. One, they would say that they prefer that. Two, they really are disappointed and consider going somewhere else whenever that turnover happens. And it's just a fact of life that it's going to happen. Now, now consider you're always dealing with the same entity whenever you're calling or interacting with the dealership. Now, 3 years into the ownership experience, any interaction you have is going to be with that same name which will stay with you through that entire ownership experience, actually anticipating what is going to be required next from you, and not pitching you on anything as a customer, but just informing you and being available on demand, not just with text, all right, but actual voice command, so you can do it while you're driving down. You could have an entire conversation now with your concierge 4 years into your ownership experience. You always know his or her name. They'll always know your name. They'll always know all your information, all your history, and you can do it while you're driving to work. You don't have to stop or pull over to text anything. It's all going to take place via voice.
Yeah. Hey, Jeff, a recall just came open on your F-150. Would you like me to go ahead and schedule that recall appointment for you?
That's what I'm talking about.
We have the part available.
I didn't mean to digress, but so Todd, you were out there with the crew, seeing everything that was happening out there at Digital Dealer. What were some of your big takeaways that you saw that when you talked to different dealers about this opportunity and what you do as well with Insight Live? What was some of their reactions? Were you getting? Are we still a little bit ahead of the game? Do you think where they're going to be a little apprehensive to give the keys to the entire organization over to something where that there's a lot more to lose than just making a couple of tweaks as you go do some hot laps around the track? What was some of the views that you, or reception overall, the sentiment that you noticed and witnessed out there?
I think the sentiment this time was way more, how do I say this, revealing to the customers that AI is coming. There were so many different booths, but the speakers were so different in what they spoke about. And validity from having, Amazon behind this AI is, we were very well received with that part of it. But then the naysayers are still out there, are we ahead of the game? Are we behind the game? I think at this point we're ahead of the game because we have the only agentic AI agent in the industry right now. I still was standing around with Ryan listening to other people that had other BDCs and other things overseas and this, that, and the other, and the disconnect rate that they hit me with was through the roof. So I think having a AI with a human or human with AI mixed is going to be a benefit for us in the long run. You just don't want to have that much of a disconnect with the clients, is what I really heard a lot about out there.
Yeah. Hey, real quick to that point, there was a number that was thrown out there too, and they call it like talk about crisis, but they said between 30 to 40% of the inbound service calls don't even reach a person that can help them. I mean, so where do those leads, where do those opportunities go? And if you're that customer, think about it. How do you feel? Here's your value, to Jeff's point, And not to mention that we all know this, but between 60 to 80% of the net profit a dealer makes comes out of service, right?
Out of fixed, yeah.
Yeah, out of fixed. So we sell them, right? To your point, Jeff. But do we take care of them? And that's the real issue, And sometimes we just put receptionists in to answer phone calls, and then those calls get transferred to the abyss, right? And
Two or
then
three times.
And then if they do pick up, then how many of those calls are actually finalized, if you will, are taken to a completion?
That's actually going to be the subject matter of our entire next program.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's just all these holes, and there is no quick fix. It comes down to really culture. How do you really want to take care of your customers? And do you need all these vendors to teach you how to do that? Or really, what's the right thing to do? It's really that easy. If you have the right, if you will, brain, if you will, powering what you want to have happen, you could probably get rid of a lot of people, save yourself a ton of money, and bring that money to the bottom line and make more revenue, to your net to gross, for sure.
And that goes back to the, resurrection of old dead leads. I mean, you spent 50 grand. Did you get back 50? Okay. What if I give you another 25 back? I've already spent the advertising part of it. Why wouldn't I want to get the rest of my money? Because if you're not following up, somebody down the street is. They're looking for a vehicle. They're going to continue on.
Sure.
Yeah. I know as a GM and an operator, I get looked at cross-eyed if I am not getting that 25% net to gross, or try to get to that 5% net to sales, which it means that the conversations that you're talking about right there, it's a must, because you can't just scattershot nowadays with that, and you have to be thorough about how you go back and capture your, as Ken mentioned, your unfair share of those leads you spent the money to get for an event or for
A campaign or whatever.
standard marketing channels. Then that's what you have to go after those, and you can't just leave messages, and or I'm just following up. That we talked about that before with missed opportunity re-engagement, and and you talked about some of the other companies out there. Again, this is not a shameless plug, but about some of the agents that they deploy for their customers, and Ken, I know that Call Team 6 does use offshore agents, right?
Yeah, no, we do not. I'm aware. I hear everything you're saying. That was a curveball, but no, we don't. All of our agents are U.S. based.
Amen.
And I think that's a great thing. I know there are other companies out there that do offshore it. And that's totally up to them. But for us here, we're all about
Bradley. I'm sorry.
There you go. Right.
It's still the top question we get.
It is.
Before we go any further, guys, where are your agents? It happens almost every
70,
demo.
75, 50,
Yeah.
80%.
Almost every
And why is that? Because they've already had an
used them
experience.
before.
That's
Yeah,
right.
they've
Well,
experienced
you can hear the stories we hear.
Or they've called somebody themselves and gotten a agent that was less than
Or they get the dreaded mystery shop going straight to the GM. That's how it was handled. And it's and wait, I'm getting an email from the owner today about a mystery shop. By then it's too late. That's when you get those. That's
Yeah,
You have a lot to say about
you
that.
actually hear, people say, well, last time I had an outsourced BDC, my customers would call me up and tell me that they hear roosters in the background and animals, I'm like, because that, who knows where those call centers actually are, right? I mean, no pun intended.
That was a real story, by the way.
That's a real story.
That's a real
you know?
story.
Yeah. So again, you get what you pay for too. I think in a lot of things and everything. Your car, your everything. Your food, and I think if you do an outsource or if you do an event, in your advertising, which dollars give you the greatest ROI, and that's what it's all about. Is making sure you get your full. I always say people say be happy because at our dealerships, they say NCM says get your 3 to 1 right on your if you spend $1 you better make 3 or you should fire the company, right? We always say get 5 to 8. It's kind of our motto. If we can't get you 5 to 8 times what you pay us, then really you shouldn't be paying us, because that's what it's all about, is giving you your unfair share, as I mentioned to you before, Jeff, and I really believe that, because we're dealers ourselves, and that's how we look at our business. We want to make sure that we are partnering with vendors that will take us and get us our unfair share. It's a lot of work, but when you find them, you stick with them, and that's how you grow your business.
Absolutely. And I've really enjoyed this. This was some really impactful content we talked about today, and I'm sure that it's going to be received very well among our dealer leadership team viewers out there. We have time for one tactical tip for this particular episode as we start to hone in on the big finish here. And I think you guys talked about it earlier. And so if you're watching out there now, tune in right now and pay close attention, because this is probably something that you haven't spent time thinking about before, or even necessarily knew about. But I'd like to talk to Todd necessarily about this, or Ryan necessarily, because you guys are in that soup every day. And it has to do with campaigns that fall short of expectations because of the way that the customer's information is being contacted or is being utilized and not cleaned necessarily, or the way that they're actually the dealership's team actually out there is reaching out to them, is getting diluted in terms of results because the fact that they're not keeping particular track of their servers. I know that was a long way of going about that, but I'm trying not to get too technical here for everybody, which I know is impossible for me. So what are you doing, Todd, whenever you guys, or Ryan, whenever you guys are engaging with these leads to help maximize the ROI on those, what are you doing with servers? And this is a good question for dealers out there to ask their marketing agencies.
Well, as of January, the email was driven way back from, Google, Gmail, and we have a warming system that we've come up with that we utilize now. And it's a 10-week warming system for your data and for email campaigns to get back to that level where they were. It takes a really long process to get it to there, but it is possible, and we have a process for that. And we can divulge a little more. Ryan can help.
No, just keeping the server. Do you have a server warming program? That's what it is, because email is not dead. I mean, it did get put on life support from Google and Yahoo, which make up like 84% of all of all emails. But you ask if you have a warming system, because once you get that warming system up and going, and it does take a couple months. Like it's a process, it's a commitment, but it works, and that will drive your deliverability up on your emails. We're seeing it by 2 or 3 times the amount. So just saying, it's not sexy, but it's back.
Well, I think that's why when we do these text blasts or email blasts out of your CRM, and you're thinking, I sent out 3,000 emails for this weekend event. What percentage of those are actually getting delivered? Just because you're running it through your CRM doesn't mean that they're actually getting opened and getting to the customer. And like Todd just mentioned, with Gmail and Yahoo, I mean, what percentage again you said?
Well,
Ryan?
I mean, just think about it. Would you spend $200-$400 a month to be able to triple or quadruple the amount of emails that get deliverable?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course.
I mean, would you be opposed to spending $200 or $300 to be able?
If you don't, then you're just taking the data you've always had and doing the same thing with it.
Yeah,
all the
but you're
time.
thinking it's not.
changing.
You think it's not viable, that there's nothing in it, but it's not true.
Right.
It's not true. It is. You just got a new creative way to do it, and
Right.
it took us a little while. I mean, we didn't just wake up with an epiphany, and there was lots of trial and error with it. But now we have a lot more success than trial and error. So it's been good.
I just want to say one last thing, and I'll be quiet. But I think that it didn't work because many times the servers that are delivering these emails are not going. They're not getting.
They were
through.
nuked.
They nuked them.
That's right.
Yep.
So here you go. Email wasn't working only because the emails are being blocked, and so by having your servers warm, it's kind of, I don't know the details on how that all works, but now they actually get delivered. So that's why it's working. It's getting up there. People still do get emails. We can look at the numbers, and we see it all day long. But but that's how you get again, I go back to it all the time, your unfair share on your email conversions too. People want to communicate the way they want to communicate with you. Some people still want to communicate via email. I mean, I know it's old school, it seems, but that's just what it is. I know that text is the best, right? But obviously, email is still part of the game. So you want to play the game for all parties involved that your customers are part of.
That's right.
Email leads to text anyway. I'm going to text you.
Yeah, if you provide good, solid content that's
get
compelling and gets somebody involved, which we are good at that as well. Yeah. And this is something too that I believe, as a dealership GM, you're thinking automatically that my CRM company takes care of doing that. They don't do that. That's why you need these guys. You need all the tools in your belt that you can get access to, and that's how the guys sitting here at this table are helping dealers all across the country succeed, where their competition is experiencing more challenges all the time. So really appreciate that. That's our tactical tip of the day, and I hope that everybody has viewing this has gotten a lot out of what happened at Digital Dealer, a lot about what you can do to accentuate the results that you're going to get, particularly as you try to go into the fourth quarter of this year, as you try to wrap up November and then the all-important December. And that's some of the things that you can take away from what we do here and where we live here, that disseminates a lot of that really useful, impactful information. So with that, this is going to bring to close this episode of the Mission Debrief. Really appreciate everybody tuning in. Thanks again to our sponsors, Podcast Junkies also, and Insight Live, and our special guest during today's broadcast, Mr. Todd Phipps, the Todd Father from Insight Live. Absolutely fantastic content, real fire as well. And shout out to Jay, our music producer back up in North Carolina as well. And, if you enjoy this, which I know we're part of a growing community, you want to be able to find us easily. And that means that, that you can catch us on all the socials, Ryan, including, I know you've expanded some channels now.
Spotify, YouTube. That's where you got to go. If you took away just one thing, you were like, hey, that's interesting, or hey, we might try that, or I may ask some questions, just like and subscribe. We got a lot more coming at you. Spotify, YouTube, you can listen to the full channels. Socials, we're all over it. Facebook, X, Instagram. You can come follow us on the coined now CT6 Express, where we're going to be heading to Fort Lauderdale, where we're at now, or Boca. Then we're out to San Francisco, Sacramento, and where else?
Back to Philadelphia.
Back
too.
to Philly, back to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Yep. So with the stop in Stockton out west there in Northern California along the way,
right.
one of our new dealership acquisitions.
Yes.
Just come follow along.
And Todd, how can people get a hold of you?
They could email me at tofipps@insightlive.com, or if you go to insightlive.com, there is an area there for you to get a demo.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Nice.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Thank you for having me.
A lot of fantastic comment. Ryan, Ken, thanks as always.
Thank you.
And thanks to everybody out there for tuning in. We really appreciate the engagement and the opportunity to be of service for dealers all across the country out there as part of Call Team 6, Special Ops for Car Dealers. And with that, we look forward to seeing you next time on the Mission Debrief.